Oh, we're
whatever.
recording already?
Yeah, I mean it gets rid of any nerves.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
true.
So, uh, what were your initial impressions going into Wednesday?
I really didn't have any preconceived notions. Honestly, I decided to watch it today because I was like infinitely scrolling through fucking YouTube or whatever, and I saw like six different edits of that episode 4 scene at the dance
Oh yeah, I
where she's
saw.
where she's dancing.
Mhm.
So that's where I watched up to, is up to episode 4, a little like past into episode 5.
Okay, I didn't watch that far because I took off to school and I started it a little later in the day. But I think I was just about finished with episode 3. But basically, for me, I was sitting there just like doing chores, odd chores around the house, and I wanted something to put on in the background. And I really knew nothing about Wednesday. I didn't even realize it was an Adams Family type show until after I played it, and then I was like, "Oh, there's the Adams Family in the vehicle."
Well,
so,
I mean, yeah, I realized it must have been an Adams Family show when I saw it was on Netflix and that it was called Wednesday, but and it was
I
clearly Wednesday Adams with like the iconic ponytails and shit.
I totally forgot any of those character names from the Adams Family. So
Oh,
it
dude, they're
I,
classic, bro. I mean, like as a uh, as a man who dates men, like that's like your sexual awakening is for me at least was the Gomez Adams from Adams Family Values and like the ones where Christopher Lloyd plays Fester.
Hmm.
And it escapes me the actor who plays
Wait,
Gomez, which
is
isn't real.
Uncle Fester the one that's like bald or whatever?
Yes, the one who looks like me. I the one who looks like me. Yeah, that's Uncle Fester.
That's awesome.
There's a picture of me, and I'll see if I can dig it up for you. But there's a picture of me somewhere in like high school with me like a clean shaven face and a bald head. Bad look. Bad, very Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I think that's who Ethan Klein dresses up as in one of the
Yes,
H3
he dressed up as Fester.
episodes. Yeah, yeah.
He did the
Why?
Penguin recently.
Oh yeah, he did the Penguin, but why didn't he Fester show up in the show? Or do you think that's something for later?
I mean, maybe if they continue it on, but from what I understand, Wednesday, I did do a little reading in preparation for this. From what I understand, Wednesday is meant to be like sort of a separate, apart from other adaptations type of thing. So I
Gotcha.
didn't think they wanted to get into too much.
Yeah, because I
I did
saw. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, no, you're good.
I was gonna say I saw a picture of the Adams Family because I forgot that it was about the Adams Family, and it looked like the younger brother was like much bigger than Wednesday in the picture, and
Pugsley, yeah, he's
he,
traditionally been portrayed as like
well,
larger.
I thought he in the show he's
He they
her
he
younger brother, but
he has her younger brother, and I'm pretty sure it's in. I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure in standard adaptations he's always been the younger brother. Here, I'll do some
on the fly
research.
research.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll pull that up.
those were some pretty vicious piranhas in the first
Got his
episode.
nut. I wondered if they were gonna if they were
That was
going
a
for
lot
that
of blood for just the nut.
for just a nut. I mean, it's a very vascular area, so I
Uh,
just imagine it bleeds a lot.
Still, that was like a whole
Whoa.
corpse worth of blood spewing out of him in that pool. They got out of there quick.
7 years younger, I guess.
Pugsley
In
is 7 years younger than her,
yeah,
but I
if she's
swear in some of those
16, that would
old
make Pugsley
pictures,
9.
she's like tiny.
In the '60s sitcom, I don't. Yeah, there's no information about that.
Gotcha. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, I knew really nothing going into it, and I don't even remember anything about the Adams Family other than like generally I remember them all being pale and it being a family and there being the bald uncle. Where's
I
the
think it made.
hairy thing? What's that hairy thing's name?
Oh God,
Isn't there like a hairy creature in the Adams
cousin
Family?
it isn't cousin it the hairy thing, or is cousin it the hand? We're gonna wow, we're looking really ill informed.
Um, yeah, I mean, Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not the biggest.
cousin it is the thing that's made of hair.
And then what's the hand called again?
It's thing, I think,
Oh yeah,
right?
is it thing?
Yeah, pretty sure it's thing.
We're looking real ignorant now.
We're gonna have to cut this whole bit out.
No shot. We gotta
No, show,
show our ignorance.
we gotta show our asses a little bit.
Yep.
Da, 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 da.
I think it is called thing. And I really like okay, so
God, we're
here.
looking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move past it and we'll both concede that it's called thing.
Yeah,
But so far I guess without
it's
spoiling
thing.
like episode 4 and 5, I guess would have been like the highlights of the show that you've enjoyed so far.
I really liked episodes 4 and 5
No,
so
well,
far.
okay, don't spoil those.
Um, Honestly, dude, 1990s. I kind of want to watch Adam's Family Reunion now because I'm looking at the cast for it, and they got Tim Curry playing Gomez Adams, and that's just I can't. Wow, that sounds amazing. Raul Julia, by the way, is who played Gomez in Adam's Family Values and The Adams Family, which were the 90s movies in 91 and 93 respectively.
Okay.
And Raul Julia, I mean, what a man. I listen, he's just suave and debonair and like there's a great scene in that one actually. I think it's in just in the Adams Family from 91 where they're cutting open a cake and the there's like they do like the Wilhelm scream and then the cake bleeds and then Gomez goes, "Oh, there was a dancer in there." C'est la vie. And then they just keep going and it's just he's like, "Oh, that's right, there was a dancer in there." He looks at Fester and just "C'est la vie."
Do all the people in the Adams family have like well, they're all very quirky, but do they have powers kind of like her? How she's kind of like a seer or whatever?
Well, they all have their
Or not a
thing.
seer, but
They all there have their thing, kind of right. And as far as I know, the seer thing has been invented for the show
so is
because
Pugsley's thing just that he's fat?
that I believe the powers are that seem to be an invention for this recent incarnation.
Okay.
But if I had to amend, but I mean, like Gomez is a fencer, like of a champion. Like he is the
Oh
big
yeah,
dick
because they
fencer.
said that she
They've
doesn't.
alluded to that in school, the school scene. Yeah,
And the
uh,
mom was like the leader of
yeah,
some club or something
she
that
was the Seance
got.
Society. They said in the show,
Mm,
Seance Society.
yeah,
But
mm,
he's Gomez is a fencer. He's a lawyer by trade, but he's made all of his money on the stock market.
okay.
Is he's supposed to be very very rich, which is how they afford their weird lifestyle. And while we're speaking about Gomez Adams, because he's my favorite member of the Adams family, uh, maybe aside from Fester. Gomez, what do you think of his casting? Luis Guzman, who is a friend of the show, Luis Guzman, just because I like everything
friend,
he's in.
friend of the show,
Yeah, I
like
just
we know him.
like we know him, but yeah, you should have just let it ride. Like I know Luis Guzman somehow.
No, we
You don't know
definitely know him. We know him
you
for sure.
definitely. Oh yeah,
Friend of the show.
friend of the show, Luis Guzman. I do love him. I don't know if I love him as Gomez.
Okay.
I do love that they're finally leaning into Gomez being Hispanic. They're
Yeah,
picking up on
so
like the Raul Julia casting.
yeah, it took me a second because like between looking at him, who's
Mhm.
obviously Hispanic, and then looking at the wife, and then looking at the daughter, I was like, it doesn't seem super
Well,
like the
I
lineage
was
would
gonna
be right.
actually credit them
Yeah, no,
because
it took me a
for,
second though, but it's because of all the white makeup and the dark hair and all that stuff. But I'm like, yeah, they did nail the Hispanic
for
the
me the
Hispanic
kids finally
aspect.
look like they're
Their parents,
mixed.
yeah,
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Um, yeah, I think I wouldn't say he's my favorite. I think
I really like the casting. Have you seen have any of the flashbacks come up in your?
the furthest it's gotten where I'm at. I guess we. we say spoiler alert, right? Because if we're any episodes in, I guess
Yeah,
we can say spoiler alert. But
yeah.
uh, I think that flashback wise, they did the pilgrim and how he like burned all the outcasts back then. That's
Hmm.
kind of where it's at, but nothing, I guess, relating to her family other than that
Okay,
descendant or ancestor.
so spoilers for episodes 4, 5, and some of 6, I guess. They do flashbacks of Gomez and Morticia when they were in the school,
Hmm.
and the casting for young Gomez is per fucking fection.
Okay,
I
I look
really,
forward to that.
I really like it.
Okay,
They've
maybe that without that, but just him as like the dad, he's not like the shining star to me at all.
yeah, Lucio Hoyos as young Gomez Adams. Lucius Hoyos.
Okay, I guess in order of my favorite,
Oh,
uh,
sorry. We should get back to casting.
yeah.
In a more like Morticia. What did you think of Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia?
Okay, let me be honest with any like media and stuff. I don't know actors by name or whatever, so I can
That's
just
fine,
speak
but just what did
on
you
the
think
portrayal. Yeah,
of
yeah.
Morticia's casting?
So, I it's really weird because on one hand, like Wednesday, the actress who's playing Wednesday, I
Hmm.
think just is absolutely fucking killing it. Like she's
Jenna
quickly
Ortega
becoming,
is her name, by the way.
yeah, Jenna Ortega.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jenna is killing it. She's such a good actress, and what on one hand, the reason I bring that up is because she portrays like a very like emotionless, like stoic, like I don't know, she put creepy vibe, weird kid, you know,
Kooky.
and kooky. And
Kooky.
on the other hand, I like Morticia as the mom, she feels like she's trying to portray that a little bit, but also like trying to portray that she cares about Wednesday, and for me it's not working that well.
It's not.
I
I do not like Morticia's performance. No like discredit to Catherine Zeta-Jones, but it almost feels like she's trying too hard.
Yeah, something about that is not fitting for me.
I
uh
I like. All right, so it almost feels like she's doing like a caricature of Angela Houston or Angelica Houston's Morticia from 91. I know I keep like hammering on these, but like these are the
yeah, yeah,
icon these are
yeah, I
kind of
don't
like
have the strongest old Adams
these
family base to hit on, but or
these
to
are
like
kind
draw
of
from.
these are kind of like the I feel like for like the cultural touchstones for the Adams family for most people in and around the young adult age, or
Hmm.
not young adult, but like yeah, you fucking adult age right now, coming of age adults, 18 to 30 demographic. I feel like the Adams family from the 90s is whether you've seen it like with your parents when you were younger or like at some point at someone like look at this movie from the 90s like it's that casting is like what at least what I think of and what most people that I've talked to think of when they think of the Adams family.
Hmm. Like the black,
And I
is
mean,
that the black and white one?
no, I'm
Okay,
the
that's what I picture when I picture the Adams family, like the
see, there
black
we
and white.
go.
Or I
That's
picture the Super Nintendo video game of the Adams family,
but
which
I
was
mean it's
hard.
telling because like Christina Ricci's on the cast for this project. I don't know who she well actually let me look it up right now. It looks like Christina Ricci's the botany teacher.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and Christina
I do like
Ricci is
her.
she played Wednesday in the 90s adaptations.
Okay, I like the botany
So
teacher. I
so
think
they
she's doing a good job.
I honestly think they should have brought her back to play Morticia.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think of all the Adams family, Morticia is by far the weakest casting.
Yeah,
But I
and
also
I
think
can
that that's also counting the fact that we don't really see Pugsley too much, so I guess I don't really have any time to sit on him and get a feel for his acting.
Pugsley has well Pugsley's like kind of because they all are quirky, right?
Hmm.
Like Gomez is naive and too trusting and he like loves his wife to a fault.
Mhm.
So like those are like his bugaboos.
Yeah,
Wednesday
and
likes
he's doing a good job portraying that
yeah.
for sure.
Guzman I think is doing a fantastic job. I'm not sure how I feel his casting. It feels a bit off to me. I wish he was a bit more eloquent in his speech.
Mhm.
Like it feels like he's slurring a lot of words together and like just like not I just wish he was a little smoother of a talker.
Mhm.
Other than that, I have no complaints about him. I think his characterization is good. I think his physical acting is fantastic. I think he other than that, he plays the part very well. Uh,
What I picture with him is just like those tombstone looking teeth, how they have it portrayed in the show.
they do a fantastic transition shot from a flashback later in episode 5 where it's the parents day. It's a parents day episode, so you get a lot of the parent casting.
Mhm. So you
Uh,
get to see like all the other kids' parents too, and
mhm.
what kind of
It's fan
families they come from.
Yeah, it's standard sitcom stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but I there's a great transition shot where it's like a close up on young Gomez's face as he's getting into a car, we'll say. So I don't want to like
Yeah,
give too
yeah.
much away. And it's a shot of his face, and he smiles, and you see his teeth, and then the camera like
Goes into his teeth.
goes in and then pulls right back out.
Uh,
And when it goes in on young Gomez and pulls out on old Gomez, but it's on the teeth, and the transition is almost seamless.
Dang.
It's quite good.
Yeah, yeah, that's
There have
something
been
that's
a multitude of cool shots in this show so far.
oh yeah. The
The cinematography is
cinematography
nice.
is nice. It's definitely on point. That's
I
one thing that
especially
stuck
like
with me was his teeth though. For sure. His teeth stand out for his
and
character.
I forget that this is a Tim Burton production
Mhm.
from time to time until I see his name at the end of the episode,
Mhm.
and I go, "Oh, yeah, Tim Burton."
Yeah, that's
He's
the only
very
reason I noticed Tim Burton.
he, this is one of his more grounded adaptations. I think
Mhm.
I do like how it's the magical realism is what I like about it. It's
Yeah,
like no one really treats the magic stuff like with much weight.
right?
It's
It's
very
just it
normal,
feels
very
very
run
part
of the
in
mill.
universe.
Yeah, like, oh, fucking the weird guys again.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I like I like the way they set that up with a casual mention of werewolves when they drop off the hiker in episode 1.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Yeah, my I don't mind Outcast much. My I can't count them as a werewolf." She's like, "Yeah, they're just like us till they rip your throat out."
Dude, so that first scene where that guy gets dropped off, and then
Mhm.
he's like, "Yeah, it's no big deal," and then he gets ripped to shreds or whatever and dies. Um, I honestly thought that like it was gonna he's gonna be like, "Oh, no big deal," and he was like going out to sit out there to like get attacked by a werewolf so he could become a werewolf. But no,
No, that's an
they
interesting
just
thought.
ripped him to shreds, and it was just like a throwaway quick mo.
I think the monster design is interesting. Not to get too far ahead of us, but we were going back to casting.
Mhm, mhm.
We're getting a little too pulled off
Yeah, so
topic
I
here.
guess if we just stick to the Adams Family fasting,
Mhm.
I think by far, obviously, a favorite is Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
She's the best. Then
she's
the
carrying the
dad,
show.
and then Pugsley is honestly my last, even below Morticia, just because we haven't seen enough of him. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess Morticia is a little more characterized for me than he
Hu-
is, and that's why I put him as last.
All right. What do you think of Gwendolyn Christie um, as Larissa Weems, the principal?
That's the chick from Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
right?
Brienne of Tarth from
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
Brienne of Tarth.
But once again, her name is Gwendolyn Christie, and
Gwendolyn Christie.
she is. By the
See,
way,
speaking with you
can we
is gonna
talk
make me
about?
know actors and actresses
Yes,
over time.
it will. Speak. As an aside, I like when they. I like the idea that Hollywood tries to sell us sometimes, and I know it's like through necessity, but like that gorgeous women are like disgusting.
Mhm,
Like where they tried to like they like they dressed Gwendolyn down a bit for Game of Thrones,
mhm.
and they try to sell you that she's like this brutish woman. Like she's fucking gorgeous though. Like
She is
big
pretty.
statuesque Nordic blonde, just
Mhm.
fantastic. As
It,
speaking speaking from as a gay man, she's fantastic.
it threw me. Um, it threw me when I saw her playing that role because
I see her popping up in everything. She was
yeah.
in
So
Sandman as Lucifer, and that was an interesting casting choice I liked.
the two big acting choices that or the two big actresses
Casting
that
choice.
threw me off uh, was her as the principal, and
Mhm.
also I forget. I think it was in the antique shop, but fucking Durin's wife, you know, from the new Lord of the Rings show.
You're gonna hate me, but I haven't been watching. I told you I haven't been
Yeah,
watching Rings
yeah.
of
No,
Power.
I remember that you hadn't been watching it, but the chick that plays Durin's wife is the the owner of the antique shop, and that one really tripped me up because I heard her voice and I'm just thinking and thinking, and then when it showed her on screen, I'm like, oh, that's who that is. So yeah, those threw me. Brienne of Tarth, Christy, Emma Christie's, or what did you say?
Gwendolyn Christie.
Hey, I got some of the name right. So Gwendolyn
Hmm.
Christie, Gwendolyn Christie. It threw me that that's the role she was playing, and it threw me that she was even in this series because of like the weirdish nature of the show. But I think she does a good job. I think she does a decent job as the principal, and I feel like she's got something up, some kind of secret hidden besides just the fact that she was Morticia's schoolmate back in the day. And as a reminder, I'm only on episode 3, so if she has some kind of plot or ploy at play, I don't really know about it.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that, like, when the one kid died or whatever, she rushed him out of there real quick as a cover or something. You know what I'm talking about? The kid that
Um.
got killed by the monster that was using his psychic powers
Yeah.
against
Are you
Wednesday.
talking about Miss Thornhill?
Thornhill.
Yeah, like because from what I remember, the botany teacher, like Christina Ricci's character, is the one who drove Homeboy out of town once he
Oh
fucked
yeah,
up.
no, not the person that drove him out of town, but the principal was like, "Oh yeah, we expelled him," and then they just kind of like brushed it off past that, and then
Oh
people
yeah, there's
couldn't
definitely something
contact him.
going there.
Yeah.
Um,
So I guess outside of the Adams family, my favorite character has to be the girl that plays like the bright, bubbly, sparkly girl.
Joy
Her win.
Sunday. Her name in the show is Bianca Barclay. No, no, no.
No,
Sorry,
no,
that's
it starts with
the
an E, I
siren.
think.
Yeah. Oh my God. Bleh.
It's Wednesday's roommate.
Yeah. I'm having a moment here.
You're all good, dude.
I really am. Emma Myers, Enid Sinclair,
Enid.
the
Okay.
werewolf. Yeah.
Okay. Emma Myers, Ina Sinclair.
Well,
So, okay,
sorry,
so
having a real brain dead moment there.
you're good.
I'm
So
staring at a cast list and I'm just like, what, what's going on?
she's
It's listed weird because they've had the actors' names first and then who they're playing,
mhm.
and only the actors' names are highlighted. So anyway,
Yeah, so
werewolf.
besides the Adams family, she's by far my favorite character. Like the way that her and Wednesday play off each other is a standout for me,
Yeah.
especially from like the rip when you know she has her sparkly whatever room
Mhm.
and the colorful window, and then you come back from the next scene and Wednesday has cut off like half of it, and she's like, "That's my half. That's your half." And then there's always the visuals of them like standing off against each other, where one's in color and one's in black and white.
Yeah. That violin piece I really liked they did, or the cello. It's a
Mm-hmm.
cello, right?
Yeah, and I really
But
I did like where something is flipping the pages or whatever, and she's
yeah.
like, I thought that was gonna help me emotionally or whatever, or I thought that was
Well, I
supposed
don't.
to.
He asked if she feels any better, and she goes, "No, I don't."
Yeah, nah, that doesn't make me feel better. But I did love when they blew up the statue or whatever, and she's
Mhm.
just like hammering away at it, and then
Slayed that piece for sure.
yeah, she slayed that one.
Danny Elfman, while we're talking about the music of the show, Danny Elfman, as soon as the theme played for the first episode, I was like, huh, because I once again I didn't realize it was Tim Burton going in. I went in very blind, and I was sort of only half paying attention before like the story picked up. So, y- n- before the theme picked up, I mean, like in the intro, the cold open, so to speak. But like that started playing, and I went, "Damn, this score is very Danny Elfman." And then, of course, Danny Elfman's name, and I went, "Oh, this must be Tim Burton then." And then Tim Burton's name, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, there we are."
So I think that's one of the things that's refreshing about the show is I didn't even know it was Adam's Family. Like I just popped something up, and honestly, I didn't watch it for the first little bit. I'm just sitting there doing the dishes, and I was listening, and then I kept like hearing stuff going on, and I kept poking my head out, and I'm like, ah, this seems kind of decent. And then I sat down on the couch, and I'm just watching it, and then episodes started flowing into each other, and I'm like, okay, this is a little captivating. This is good stuff. So I what kept popping into my head because whenever I listen to like film reviews or film critics is the word campy,
Hmm.
and then I looked it up and it's like, hmm, it's like that, so bad it's good type
Yeah,
thing. But I can't apply that to this because I don't think this is bad in any way. So I guess I can't really call it campy. It's just
it
quirky
feels
for sure.
it feels very like and I believe it's an MGM production, which is why it feels like that golden age monster movie type of feel is what it has to it.
That's
It's
so
got
that's exactly what I wanted to talk about with what I like about it is that it feels very old movie esque, but like
mhm.
rejuvenated in a way that it's like, okay, you got all the nice new cameras, you got the nice new cinematography, but then you still have like the
But
cheats.
they're filming it in like a I listen, I'm no fucking film student. I didn't go to film school. I just watch movies like it's a crack addiction. I just I just like film. I think it's fascinating. But the way this is shot is in like which is sort of like what I expected because I did read like the elevator, the back of the napkin pitch
Mhm.
was like Wednesday Adams solves a mystery, blase squaze. But
Gets sent to boarding school.
yeah, gets sent to boarding school and then solves a mystery. But the it feels like it's shot in like a neo noir style. Like it's shot like an old school like gumshoe detective type of
Mhm.
deal,
Mhm. Yeah.
which fits for Wednesday Adams because like she behaves as if she's in a fucking noir film.
I gotta say that she like I don't come off as like dressing all in black and like ugh. But spiritually I definitely am harmonizing a little with how how Wednesday is portrayed.
Yes.
I feel like I'm Wednesday some days for sure.
Okay. So we've talked we've talked
Okay.
a couple more casting things I want to get to. I do want to get to Joy Sunday as Bianca Barclay.
That's
She's the
the
siren, Xavier's
okay.
ex-girlfriend.
I can I just say that I hate in shows and movies when they have those freaking ridiculous contacts in
You don't
because
like the contacts?
I hate it. I hate it every time it pops up on screen because the only thing I can look at is their freaking giant contacts in their
Well,
eyes.
that's kind of the point, right? Is like she's a siren,
I
so
don't
you're
care.
supposed
I
to it's
just it's
supposed to have
just
like the captivate.
distracting.
It's like it's the captivation factor. So if they can't stop looking at your eyes,
But to me,
that feels like consistent character design. It feels like reinforcing things that are told narratively in the character design. It
for
feels like a good choice to me.
for me, and this isn't just like an issue I have with this show and her portrayal having those contacts,
Mm.
but for me, whenever I see any type of show or movie and they have those contacts where it's very noticeable, that is something I look at that it takes me out of the show. It makes me
What
look
about in the
at it.
case of The Witcher with his like
I haven't
Geralt's
watched The
cat
Witcher.
eyes? All right, damn.
So for me, what ends up happening is I look at it and I'm like, instead of like, oh, I'm so sucked into the story, I'm like, that looks bad,
Have you
and
watched Sabrina?
that makes me think that I'm watching a show. Like they're playing a role or whatever. It just takes me out of the story a little bit. It's not enough to like
I understand
detract
that.
from the story, but
I can understand that. I don't agree with you, but I can understand that.
mhm.
Hmm.
But as far as what I thought of her, I mean, I think she plays a good like uh bitchy, mm, high end of the class or whatever role.
Have you seen Sabrina at all?
Like Teenage Witch Sabrina.
Like the show, like the
Is it just
Chilling
called
Advent.
Sabrina?
It's the one on Netflix.
Oh, probably. I
It's
don't
the
think so.
modern one that
It's been
with
a.
the
I haven't been keeping up with shows too much. This is the first show that I've sat down and watched in a little while.
all right. They have a similar character that I feel in Sabrina
Mhm.
that is almost exactly the same character. It feels like a copy paste of that character, which
Is
because
it
it's
at like a school setting too?
exactly she's the queen bee mean girl.
Hmm.
She's also like got like the same sort of like character design, like fucking statuesque, gorgeous, like long braided hair,
Hmm.
captivating eyes with I think she wears contacts too in Sabrina. They just feel like very similar characters.
Gotcha.
I do feel like they're like as we're going in, I feel like Bianca's getting a lot of development.
That's Bianca the siren.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's getting a lot of development. I like this. I like the werewolf chick a lot. Uh,
Her
Enid.
roommate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like her a lot.
I love that.
And
She's like the kind of like werewolf with a fault. Like she faints because of pictures of like the dude's toes getting cut off or
mhm,
whatever. So it's like the werewolf
like the
that can't
squeamish
stomach
werewolf.
blood. Yeah, squeamish werewolf. That's funny to me.
Hmm. What do you think of Wednesday's therapist?
Last thing I saw with her really was that she's the one that's making all the like dead rat and squirrel sculptures or whatever that ends up in the antique shop, which like I think that's a funny quirk for a therapist to have because that tells me something's wrong with that person.
There's nothing wrong with that person. Taxidermy is a perfectly viable hobby.
I know.
Oh, fuck
But I'm
you.
not saying all people that like taxidermy are mentally
Dude, I'm just saying,
unstable. I'm just saying if you're a
I
therapist
cannot
and you like
believe the
taxidermy.
damage that my man Alfred Hitchcock has done to the taxidermy community.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Just because he made his crazy character in Psycho, Norman, do be a taxidermy guy. Now, every time you see
Wait, is
taxidermy,
that the guy that Eminem has voice for him in Music to Be Murdered by?
what? I don't know. Do I look like I
Or
listen to
no?
Eminem? Don't answer that. Don't answer that because I know I do, but shut up. L- Listen, we had a guy at work who would play Eminem when
Mhm.
I first started working there, when I was still like a little peon before I was a sous chef. He would play Eminem and MGK all goddamn day. So the second he
Wow, what
was,
a
so
combo
this, yes, yeah, and then dude, especially and then
when they
double
were popping
down when
off.
when they started the feud,
Mhm.
double fucking down,
Oh Lord.
and it was
Which
just,
side of the
I'm
fence did he end up on?
dude, he thought MGK took it home, and
Murdered
then
Eminem.
yeah, and I was like, are you fucking insane? Anyway, listen, it's just bad. He's just bad.
There's a reason that MGK hasn't rapped since him and Eminem had their little feud.
Oh, and by the way, like our good friend Sugarfoot had to like when MGK dropped his pop punk album. Listen, I don't for the record, I don't like MGK. I
Mhm.
don't like his I don't it's not that I don't like that's harsh. I don't like MGK's music particularly.
Is it because he
It's
took Megan
fine.
Fox from us?
No, I don't give a shit. That their relationship is weird, but I don't give a shit. Like everyone's relationship is weird in some way.
True.
Who gives a shit? Like let them have their fun, let them do what they want to do. I don't care. But like our friend Sugarfoot had like been really down on his pop punk album, and he was like, "It's like what is he adding to the genre?" I'm like, just shut the fuck up. Let the man make some fucking music that he wants to make.
Hmm.
Like I may not think his music is very good, but he should still be
Someone
able to make
does.
whatever.
Yeah.
He should still be able to make whatever he wants to make just because he wants to make it. And if he's gonna release it and get paid for it, good for him. For you to be like people like that's the one thing that old Sugarfoot doesn't understand. I love him, but like you can make art just to
make
for
art.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
it's
it's such.
like, how would anyone just starting out be adding anything to the genre?
Oh yeah, dude. Like what are we adding to the film critique genre right now? Zero.
Yeah.
This is just to
We're
scratch
just
a
chilling
creative
we're
urge that I
chilling and
have,
hanging out, yeah.
that we have.
Mhm.
Back to casting. There's a couple more people I want to get to before we move on to thoughts in general.
Mhm.
Eugene, has he been introduced yet?
Which
B-boy?
one? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like him
The
a
guy
lot.
that has a crush on the werewolf girl, Eden.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Wait, he's the guy with braces? Or the retainer?
Yes.
So there was a funny scene where Wednesday's breaking into that pilgrim house or whatever, and she has
Yep.
him take out his retainer, and she does something with it like this, and then she picks the lock, and I'm like, and then she gives it back to him, and he just pops it in, and I'm like, what did she do to that retainer to pick the lock? You would have to
She
bend
pulled
it
the
in
wire
some
off
way,
it.
and then you can just put the wire back on.
Yeah, I mean it's just a.
I okay for me, I'm retainer ignorant.
Yeah, I've
Okay,
never
I've
had a
never had a
retainer, but
retainer.
my younger brother did, and they're gross. Ugh, I could. Ugh, retainers are
Cause
gross.
yeah, I was just like, oh, she
I don't want to talk
just
about it anymore.
all right.
I thought uh, Georgie Farmer's character, Ajax, the dude with the thing on his head,
Oh, the
the big old,
Gorgon,
yeah, the Gorgon. I thought like I like
the scene
all
where
I
he
like I
freezes himself in the shower, and they were supposed to go
yeah,
on the date.
dude, that was goofy. That
So
was goofy.
wait, so out of all these characters, who's your favorite outside of the Adams family?
For outside of Wednesday Adams,
Hmm.
um, I kind of like the sheriff's son.
Okay. Okay.
His Tyler Gulpin, played by Hunter Duhan. He's I like him. He gives me like the it's like the slacker energy. He's got like that slacky town
Yeah, the coffee
slacker,
kid.
yeah, the slacker towny
Hmm.
mentality that I'm very familiar with that mentality working in the service industry,
Yeah,
mostly in college towns my whole life. So
I guess
that
don't spoil it for me, but it seems like they were really pushing that they're gonna kind of end up in a relationship, him and
may,
Wednesday.
maybe now that we've kind of addressed all the important casting that we're going to be seeing on like a daily basis.
Hmm.
I don't really care about the guest stars. We'll talk about them as they come up if it warrants it. But I think the relationship arcs are going to be interesting. They're doing quite a few branching pathways. I feel like I
It's
think
it
in this first season they're setting up a lot of like
love triangles.
well, yeah, so that they can resolve later in seasons, and then maybe they can revisit those unresolved like corners of the triangle
Hmm.
later down if they decide they want to like milk this show for a while. I don't know. Is this going to be a limited series or are we getting multiple? Do we know yet?
I have no idea, honestly. Like I said, I went into this completely blind, and I'm just running with it. I guess I'm enjoying it a lot. So as I do, whenever I finish a series or get caught up, then I start reading all the spoilers and where it's gonna go next and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
um, what I how did you feel about when she was figuring out all the riddles for Edgar Allan Poe or whatever, and she got to the secret society room, and then it just ended up being like her classmates that were the secret society.
I was kind of in and out for that part to be I was doing laundry.
Mm-hmm.
So I really can't speak on that. I'd have to watch it again, which is fine because this is basically just like a first impressions video anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if it warrants it, we'll go back and
We'll deep
do
dive
like
it.
yeah, do like an episode by episode, like an Alt Shift X type of thing.
Yeah.
Shout out friend of the show, Alt Shift X, who he doesn't know we're friends yet, but we're friends.
We have a
Just
lot of
gonna,
friends that don't know we're friends.
yeah, yeah, we're just like bilking the parasocial relationship, you know?
hmm Yeah, yeah. They're not parasocial with us, but the
The
feeling's
ex-
not mutual.
yeah, not mutual.
But so for me, I kind of, I expected that to be more of like
Do you feel
part of
like
the
they're gonna
mystery.
do you feel like they're gonna do like a red herring type of deal with who the with the monster thing?
Oh, I guess
'Cause like,
let's figure out who the monster is. What are your thoughts? Is it
oh
someone
my,
we've met?
I'm still early enough on in that I don't like I have no solid clues,
hmm
and because I've been like half-heartedly watching, so for me to call it, I gotta say that the monster is I think the principal knows who the monster is, and I think she's protecting them.
Yeah, I think the red herring was the mermaid dude came walking up right next to her when she saw the footprints or whatever.
Hmm.
Do you remember when they went out to like the burned down old one? She had the whole flashback, and then the monster was there when she came out of her vision. She went chasing after it. There was the footprints that turned from the monster footprints into the human footprints, and then like immediately she saw the mermaid dude.
Oh yeah, that's totally a red herring.
Yeah, so
But
not
I feel like
him
we're gonna get it's a
easily.
series, so we're gonna get like four red herrings
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna like they're doing like a Xavier red herring, I think too.
Is Xavier the coffee guy? Still getting them mixed up.
No,
Oh, because to me, that would be my guess is the coffee kid.
that maybe
But
that would also explain like if you think about it, because like they reveal a little bit. It's the next episode, and it's freely given narrative. They reveal that like he was kind of a shithead, the Tyler guy,
well, it's been
and
a
then he
little
got
bit spoken about,
and then he got sent to a boot camp, and
and that's
according to
where the
him,
monster disappeared for a while.
they
Maybe.
sent him yeah they sent him away to a boot camp to get straightened out, and he got straightened out. My thinking is like something happened while he was away at boot camp, and he came back as a monster, and now he understands like the outcast's plight, and that's why he's like changed like 360 on why or on like
Okay.
his feelings. Like he says like just like he ascribes it to like that's not the version of myself I want to be, and like his wording caught me there. I'm like, it's not the version of you want to be. Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, that to me. That's my first
That's a
impression. That's
that's a
my
good
guess.
that's a good idea. I mean, I
Um.
hadn't I hadn't considered it too heavily,
mhm.
and by too heavily I mean like I had only had one brief thought about it, but maybe yeah, I think it's probably a good idea. I think that they're gonna try to like at some point heavily imply that it's the sheriff, his father,
Uh,
and then that's gonna be like the final red herring. It's like
and then
it's
it'll
his
be the kid.
dad, and then nope, it was his dad. It was the dad protecting the son.
hmm I think the dad's ignorant. I don't think he knows anything about who the monster really is. But he,
That's a
they
good
did
point.
speak on a timeline. Like he knew there was a monster before. Like because I think when it attacked the dude in the forest, um, and they blamed it on a bear.
Yeah.
At one point, he's like, I'm pretty sure I don't have astral recall from 12 hours ago,
The
but
line I think the line you're talking about is he said is the principal says didn't the mayor say there was a bear attack
uh-huh,
and the and or didn't the mayor declare that a bear
a
attack or
bear
whatever?
attack. Yep.
And the cop says me and the mayor aren't exactly in agreement on that.
hmm
Or he
Okay.
says
Okay.
something to that effect.
For some reason, I was thinking they had said something along the lines of like there being a monster in the past, or they had known about one previously, and
There might
uh,
have been. I mean, they implied that Gomez is a murderer in like episode one.
yeah, yep. I don't know who he murdered, but they do imply that really early on. Is it
Actually,
like a
not it's not
Hagrid
implied.
situation? Like he got framed?
They seem to be like hinting at that. I mean, not. I really wish you would have watched episode four.
Yeah. I mean, next time we do this on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
I mean, yeah, they they heavily implied that he murdered somebody.
Okay. Okay. Um yeah, that's my impression. It's the kid. To me it feels like that's a classic TV setup, is to like make the love interest of the main character, or like the hinted at love interest, and the guy that she's spending the most time around be the guy that ends up being the monster. Kind of feels Scooby Doo esque
Sure.
in that
Well,
way.
like they've set up a lot of love like romantic ideas because like Eugene, the bee, like
Yeah,
the
and
bee
the
and insect there,
werewolf girl.
he wants the insect, he wants the werewolf girl, but the
But
werewolf girl
once the Gorgon,
is wants the Gorgon,
and the
and
mermaid wants uh Wednesday, and the siren wants the mermaid. And I think Wednesday wants the coffee kid.
yeah, and who are you referring to as the mermaid?
Isn't it the long hair guy?
Is
That
Xavier a mermaid? Have I did I somehow miss that?
I
Probably.
because that's
No, no, no.
who.
Xavier Thorpe is the long-haired, like bug-eyed kid.
Who's the one that like she's gonna go to the dance with?
That's Xavier.
I thought
He's
he was
not
the
a
mermaid.
mermaid. He makes art come to life. He's like got like I think he's supposed to be like a
Oh
light Dorian Gray
yeah, he
reference.
does like the spider on the desk that walks and she smashes it.
Yeah. I think he's like like a nod to Dorian Gray because he does kind of like have some say, share similar character design.
Hmm.
That we're definitely gonna have to next time we do this, you go with a three panel because there's a bunch of images I could be showing you right now.
Okay, yeah, yeah. We'll do that next time. I don't know how we would pop up the images.
I would have to host next time, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I know
Um.
how to run Streamlabs.
Cool. Cool. Um. So I guess I don't have a ton to go off of because I just left off where um she declared revenge on the pilgrims or whatever for out for persecuting the outcast people.
Yeah.
And then when I was looking at Facebook on my way home, there was there was a, what do you call it? There was a band that posted the dance of her dancing around, and I hadn't seen that
See,
yet, but that's
see,
got to be
that's this the same thing that
the
like
most
lured me into
popular.
watching it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I've seen this edit 6 times. Let's see if this show's worth watching.
For me, I hope I like that she's like changing a little bit, but that she's very much Wednesday's staying very much the Wednesday character, very like grim dark humor.
Grimdark, yeah,
Yeah, grim dark.
she's Grimdark.
I think grim
Grimdark the
dark's one of
person.
my favorite genres.
And Wednesday's child is full of woe.
Yeah.
That's a nice naming convention they're doing too, with woe in every episode title somewhere. They're
Hmm.
making it all kind of punny.
Yeah.
I mean, episode 1, Wednesday's child is full of woe, which is her namesake. Woe is the loneliest number, friend or woe. They're all
Woe
song
is the
titles.
loneliest number.
Excluding the first one, they're all song titles. Woe, what a night, oh, what a night. You reap what you woe, quid pro woe. If you don't woe me by now, a murder of woes.
Oh my god, that's the worst. A murder of
Yes, a murder of crows.
love.
Yeah, that's lovely. It's a good naming convention. I was actually just watching Breaking Bad recently too, and their first season has an interesting naming convention where every episode title ends in O,
Hmm.
except for one, which I think it's called like Little Dutch Boy or something. But it's because they didn't get the authorization to use the title Jello,
Jello.
which was the original, I guess.
I think it's funny that Eden's character as the werewolf, when her nails grow out, they're still like the painted, colorful
Yes,
nails.
that's the Takashi 69 nails.
It's pretty awesome. And I knew it. I mean, obviously, they're
I think
playing
it's
like.
really weird how they can make, by the way, Jenna Ortega, who is Wednesday at this character. It's really weird. Like, I don't know if it's the way it's shot or just the way she's dressed, or if they're doing like some some mild Gandalf like forced perspective stuff like they did in The Hobbit and stuff. But they're making this 20-year-old girl look 16 like
Dude, I was
convincingly.
literally just about to
She looks
say,
so much younger than everyone in the cast too. I'm like, this feels very weird.
dude, I was literally just about to say, like, okay, just speaking on that werewolf girl, I was like, they're they're in like middle school or high school or
It's
whatever.
high school
High
because
school.
Wednesday's 16,
So they're in high school, and I'm like,
so ostensibly they're
Eden
sophomores.
Eden is not 16 years old, and I immediately looked up the actress, and she's
She's
like
20.
20. Yeah.
So is Wednesday's actress,
I'm like,
Jenna.
yeah, so it is interesting. And then Eden always has these, or not
Like all
Eden,
the
Wednesday
dudes,
always has these shots like this.
look like they're fucking. Yes, the Wednesday
And
does
then
have that
her,
shut on.
they always have like the light glaring on her dark, beady eyes too.
Well, that's like in the way it was shot in Adam's Family Values and Adam's Family in the 90s, like Morticia, every time her shot is framed, there's a band of light going across her eyes to like highlight them.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost feels like a light homage.
And it's like not even with her trying, but I'm trying to center here, but her eyebrows are permanently like slanted, like she's
It's
like,
the way they're drawn. They're drawn on that way.
oh, well, she looks permanently like she's like
Like it's like
angry.
my eyebrows kind of grow in like just naturally with the surprise look. They
Mm-hmm.
get the natural arch, and I can
Surprise
cut.
Pikachu face at all times.
I can if I were so inclined, I could shape them and draw them in a certain way that I would always look Wednesday Adam. Like
we
this chick,
gotta we gotta come in on our next episode. Each of us dressed
with
up as Wednesday Adams.
no, I wonder
Both of us have.
if I didn't have to shave this magnificent beard, I would Uncle Fester up, but I cannot do it. It's taking too long, and
I
Nat likes it too
understand.
much. So
Is there anything else you would like to touch on for this episode of our
anything else we would like to touch on?
Wednesday? I feel like we've touched on it because I haven't caught up to where you have, and so really we can't hit too many story beats because
We talked
we
about the
haven't
good
finished the arc.
cinematography. We talked about the fantastic score.
Yeah, again, I just have to reiterate favorite scenes involve that window and those two girls standing
Yeah,
there.
you like the window imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there are other things I want to talk about cinematography related, but though they're like specific examples from later episodes, we'll wait.
Okay.
I'd like to see more well, I mean, I guess I'm only halfway through the series, so things I hope I see going forward. I'd like to see more utilization of the actual Adams family
Mhm.
cast. I know it's not like their show or whatever, it's Wednesday's
Right.
show, but I'd like to see a bit more use of the family.
I feel like we won't get that in this season.
Probably not. I think you're probably right. I think they want to focus mostly on Wednesday.
Probably
I
the
would,
most callback you'll see is that
well,
Parents' Day episode.
I mean, I we'll see how you feel after you watch the Parents' Day episode, because it seems like they've sort of resolved the first arc, and they're gonna like set
Move
up
forward.
on
Hmm.
well like the first arc within the arc, you know.
Arcception.
Well, you know how like the rising action arc, the
Yeah.
first rising action arc. If we're going to our like our story diagrams.
Yeah, I think that the Adams family won't take center stage again until a later season where like, oh, maybe she gets expelled from the school or banned from the school for a certain amount of time and has to go back and stay with her family, or she runs away from the school, something along those lines, or something bad happens to her and her family has to get her and like care for her or something for a bit. That's where I think her family would come into play again.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, being so early on in the show, the things I would want to see.
Oh, also, I feel like we've given Danny Elfman a lot of love, but we also haven't talked about that there is a, you know, Chris Bacon, who is also a prolific, you know, score dude.
Is he also in the show?
He's co-composing with Danny Elfman.
Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job on the score for the show.
So it looks like Elfman composed the theme and he co-composed the score with Chris Bacon. Mm, they did like some reworks of like Painted Black, Nothing Else Matters.
Dude, that's the one that really caught me was the Painted Black or whatever.
Yeah.
I or no, it was the Nothing Else Matters. It was the Nothing Else Matters. I'm like, ooh, they're doing a good job with this because I recently listened to that song.
Yeah, Physical by Dua Lipa pops up too. And you know how much of a Dua Lipa fan I am.
I haven't listened to much Dua Lipa. Is that a
I,
sin?
maybe, I don't know, I like her.
Maybe
I
you're
like her
sinning.
music. I don't know. I don't call
Um,
it a sin. Not like it. Apparently Fred Armisen is cast as in the show as Fester Adams, so we will see
we
Uncle
will see him.
Fester. I don't know how I feel about Fred Armisen's casting, but I'll withhold judgment until I see him play it. He does seem like he has the right energy for it, though, at least. That, like, sort of like frantic, scatterbrained energy sort of feels like it would be similar to what Christopher Lloyd brought to it.
For me, going forward with the show, I mean, obviously they're in high school age range, so there's gonna be a bunch of relationship stuff. So
Well, it's
we're
interesting,
gonna
too,
see
because
that.
they're 16, so if they take it past 2 seasons, then you're getting into, like, college territory.
Yeah. But they did say the vampires have been there for decades. um,
Kind
but
of interesting thought.
but for me, the thing I want to see, I don't really want to see Wednesday become like too soft. I want her to still have uh, like the she's doing it for revenge or doing it for her own
I don't think they're going to soften
interests.
her too much,
Yeah,
but I think also that's part of the reason why they stick her with, like,
Eden,
Enid. Yeah.
Enid.
They stick with Enid so they can, like,
Give her
do like the
a
odd
little,
couple pairing and
yeah.
like have Enid get a little bit more serious
Mm-hmm.
and
And her
focused
and
from Wednesday,
Wednesday get a little
and
more
Wednesday
squishy
get
and soft.
a little bit of like, yeah, empathy and maybe, I don't know, like spontaneity,
Yeah,
frivolity.
yeah. So I guess I want to see a little less relationships, although it's gonna happen. But I want to see
Yeah,
more.
I could do without so much like romance subplot.
Yeah,
Give me more
not
mystery subplot.
romance. I want more Eden Wednesday interaction. Just give me more of it. That's a
Yeah,
highlight
I
of the show
watched
for me.
Euphoria. I don't need any more high school romance. Like,
Yep.
please just give me a Nancy Drew mystery.
Yeah, and give me more cheese. I love the cheesy old monster movie vibe.
Yeah, that
That
feels
that
good.
that feels
I
good.
think even the creature design is like intentionally goofy.
Goofy. Yeah, I'm like that thing looks weird.
It's all bug-eyed and shit.
I didn't love it. I still don't love it, but I guess it fits the vibe of what we're going for. You're not going for like a straight up horror movie monster coming out and killing things.
Yeah,
Also,
what is
I'm curious why it's not targeting her. Again, leads me into the theory that it's the
her
coffee dude.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
I wonder what the target age range is for this. Audience
Oh yeah, not just
viewership.
not targeting her, coming to her rescue.
Hmm.
Target ranged, middle-aged man.
I wonder what it has to be like aimed at young adults, right?
Yeah, probably somewhere around there, like high schoolers to young adult.
Hmm, yeah. Jesus Christ. I'm looking at this review that somebody of Ed Power from the Daily Telegram called Wednesday an addictively rococo romp that unfolds like a cross between Euphoria and Hotel Transylvania. That is strikingly accurate.
That is strikingly
Good on you, Ed Power. I hate to give the Daily Telegraph any credit, the rag that it is, but
accurate. So I
not,
think,
it's not a bad summary.
do you want to do then the next episode both of us finish up so we have the entire storyline to talk about?
I would rather both of us just hit like maybe episode. No, there's 8 episodes,
Yeah.
right? And I finished
Through five?
up to 5. Yeah.
Oh, up to five, or you finished five?
I finished 5.
Okay, so you only have 3 episodes left.
I've watched some of 5, not all of 5. So
Okay.
I'm roughly over halfway through the series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll finish 5, and then you finish 5, and then we'll reconvene. That seems
Okay.
like a good place.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
And then we'll play it from here by there.
All right.
See how much we want to talk about and how much we got. I mean, we got a good bit of got a good bit in for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Wasted a bunch of time talking about casting.
I think the casting's important though.
It really is, and it's
And
important
because we
to
haven't,
give the
because
actors
I
their credit.
haven't, right, and because I haven't gotten through a ton in the show, you know, there's there's only so much story you can talk in 2 to 3 episodes.
Dude, they filmed in Romania. I wonder if definitely not friend of the show Andrew Tate is filming right in his backyard.
I like the definitely not friend of the show for the Andrew Tate.
Listen, I have no opinions on Andrew Tate.
Other than he's not our friend.
He's never met us and he's not a friend of the show.
Are
Maybe
you
he will be
fishing
one
for
day.
brownie points
No, I'm
from
not
our
fishing for brownies.
audience?
Absolutely not. I would never debase myself so low.
You know what I would love to do for
What?
these episodes, but I know it would take some time and I'd have to sit through the episode. I would like to go through and make chapter markers like they have for long form
I
shows,
was thinking about
so
that
you
because
could
like
click and hit, oh, this is the casting talk. This is the
casting deviated from
the
like
deviation from casting. This is the tangent.
yeah, tangent exactly.
Yeah, but I think the more we do it, the more I can get down with that because I could probably even while we're doing an episode like have a
Yeah, I
notepad
was
open
thinking
and like put a marker or
I was
something.
thinking about it as we were doing it because there's a couple times I looked down at the little time clock in the bottom of
Hmm.
Streamlabs and I was like, I'll probably write this down.
Yeah, no, if we're doing an episode and we get on some sort of tangent, we can write down a time or something, and then rather than us going back and watching the whole episode every time, we can just put the markers up to those points too. A little
Absolutely.
quick system. So I think that's where we'll end our first episode. I think that was a pretty
Yeah,
good
we'll time step this technical,
first
unimportant
episode.
technical talk. Oh.
Heck no, man. They get the
Inside,
technical talk.
actually it'll just be called Inside Baseball.
Inside baseball.
Yep.
Behind, behind the scenes.
Yeah,
All right.
behind the music.
I'll end it here.
Do we even have a title for this yet?
No. I was thinking of stealing a Shardcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Working title. We'll
What's
see you next time on Working Title.
Brandon's podcast? I think is called Intentionally Blank.
Yes, it is called Intentionally Blank. I listened to an episode this morning.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a work in progress on the title for sure.
Working title. We'll get back to you on that
Working
one.
title. Episode 1 of Working Title.
All right, peace.
Peace.